Hello and welcome to the show. It was author Zora Neale Hurston who said, being in love with someone will make you come out of your comfort zone. And my guests today understand those words all too well. They have come in and out of their comfort zones over the last 25 years of marriage. Would say it was well worth it to be where they are now. I want to welcome Carita and Leon Montgomery to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good to have you. I love a good love story. Tell me how you met.
You want to tell?
Yes. Yes. Because there's always the two different versions.
Exactly.
Always two. So go ahead.
Well, we met in church. I was actually singing in the choir, and her mom was on program that Sunday. And myself and my cousin, we noticed some twins sitting in the front, and they wasn't twins from my church. Mm-hmm. So my cousin and I say, hey, we're going to go down and meet these twins after church.
Who these girls down here, right?
So I did just that, and I went and asked them for the phone number, their names and their phone number, and we've been talking. We talked the whole summer, and, the rest is history.
And your version?
So he did.
That's really nice.
It was like a gang of them. So we were in the car, my twin sister and I, and so my mom was like, y'all get away from my car. You know what I mean? Trying to run them off. Yeah. And so they got our numbers and they kind of played on the phone a little bit all that summer. So I forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And then the summer before our senior year, he just showed up at my house with a group of kids that he was working with in summer camp. Mm-hmm. And he showed up at the house, knocked on the door, rang the doorbell, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And so that's really when the dating started.
Right. And this was young. I mean, we're looking at wedding photos and how life has come and for the two of you with this beautiful family. But there were some interesting patches, right? Just coming out of getting married out of college, mm-hmm. right? And starting a family early.
Right. Mm-hmm. So our first daughter was born actually when we were still in college.
Okay.
She was
How
born.
Was that?
It was rough. So she was born right before our senior year started. Her birthday is in August.
Yeah.
So we had 3 weeks and then the semester started.
And kudos to you for going back to school.
I went back. My family didn't want me to go back. Of course, for him, it really didn't matter because he was the guy and the baby was going to be with me. Mm-hmm. And they tried to encourage me to drop out and just stay home with the baby. And I thought about that. I'm like, but then what am I going to do? And I'm almost at the finish line. I really only had 18 hours left to graduation. So I just split it up into 2 semesters. And I said, I can do this. I can do this.
But there's also, you're very young, new baby, trying to finish college. There's a lot just right there in that part for any marriage. That was a lot, right?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And we weren't married then.
Yeah.
Well, we still split the responsibilities. I did take my daughter in Atlanta, and I had her on campus at Morris Brown College, and my colleagues would call me Mr. Mom because I was carrying around a newborn on campus.
Yeah, right. So daughter gets older, married. You guys you at some point. So what exactly did you get married?
In 98. So she was 5 when we got married.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So she gets to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then more children come because that's what happens when we get married, right?
Yeah.
So daughter number 2 was born in 2000. So we had been married 2 years. So that was a little bit rough as well because this is the first time that we had a child born with us in the same household. Mm-hmm. So trying to figure that whole part out, who gets to be the disciplinary, who is the fun parent.
Did you two have different disciplinarian styles?
Oh, yes. Very different.
Explain. Because I know that's where a lot of marriages also struggle. What you learn about your spouse as a parent is not something you know before if you didn't, really get to go through that part, right?
Yeah. And I grew up in a household where, we got whoopings for everything, for anything.
Understood.
If I got a call from
the
teacher,
teacher,
that's
there's a whooping waiting when you got home.
Exactly.
Understood.
And then I'm gonna get a good tongue thrashing along with that.
Yeah.
So
how did that differ from your style?
So when he said tongue thrashing, he was like curse words, cursing, profanity, whatever. And I grew up the exact opposite. I grew up in a single parent home with my mother, but she was this church going, all that. So we didn't have a lot of cursing. We got, I remember only one spanking whooping my entire childhood.
Wow.
I was a good child.
On myself.
Right. So I only remember one, and like my sister, I don't remember. I have a twin, and we just didn't get a lot. We just didn't get a lot.
How hard was it? Was that really a, don't do that, stop this, or did you just kind of fall back and say so y'all were fighting?
Yeah, because I disagreed. And, he was bringing his way of disciplining the kids to, we never talked about it for one. So the first time he had to discipline them, I was like, and so each time it got harder for me to just sit and watch how his discipline style was.
So was it the cussing, or was there more to it that was disturbing?
It was the cursing. It was the cursing. It was the, he would punish them about every little thing. And I was more like, I don't know, this new age parent. I was like, can we just talk about it? But he was taking stuff like, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. You ain't going nowhere. This is that. But see, he would lay all the discipline rules down, but I had to enforce it. Because
you had to execute.
Because he going out with the boys, and now I got to enforce the discipline.
But I had to get her on track too. Sometimes she don't follow through. She didn't support me when I made these, these rules.
And so that I can understand becomes a challenge. At some point, things got so tough that you guys did decide to separate, right? Yes. How did you come to that conclusion that maybe we should go our separate ways? I mean, obviously you're back and you're here and it's all good, but that's pretty serious stuff to get that far.
Right. Yes. It was me. He didn't even know that I was planning to separate. It was one of those things where I was like, I'm going to do it. And I had went and got an apartment. And I had the apartment for about 30 days before I actually moved into it. But
he didn't know.
He didn't know I had it.
I tell you what, we're going to pause the story right there because I want to hear how you told him I've got not just an apartment, but plans to leave, right? Because that's a breaking point for sure. Yeah. All right. Don't go anywhere, folks. Carita and Leon open up about some toxic behaviors that really jeopardize their marriage as well. We're going to talk about how they've had to face some harsh realities about themselves and then learn to forgive each other when we return. Stay with us. Hey there, Portia here. Listen, that was a good conversation, wasn't it? Want to see the rest of it? Just go to portiashow.com, scroll down until you see that particular episode. But listen, before you scroll on out of here, I need you to do me a favor, please. Like, comment, let us know what you thought of that episode, and subscribe. And if you already are a subscriber, we sure appreciate you. In the meantime, we'll be sure to see you on the next episode of Portia, and you can catch us weeknights on Fox Soul as well. Tell your friends. Tell them to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.